all had a great Christmas and it's almost New Year's. Woohoo! And so to celebrate, we're packing on the calories until we can with this gorgeous cinnamon roll wreath and 2 extra logs because it wasn't enough and beautiful and delicious Nutella sauce. This is going to be a great centerpiece for your New Year's dinner. So let's get started. What you're going to need: 2 loaves. For the bread, you'll need a package of dry yeast or 7 grams, 120 ml of warm water, 470 ml of milk, 170 grams of sugar, a teaspoon of salt and 4 eggs, 960 grams of flour, 115 grams of melted butter and 55 grams of solid butter, and to sprinkle 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and 110 grams of sugar. For the glaze, you'll need 1 egg, 130 grams of icing sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk, and some vanilla. And for our Nutella sauce, you'll need 240 grams of heavy cream, 230 grams of cream cheese, 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and 50 grams of Nutella. I have transferred my warm water to a larger bowl, and now I'm going to place the dry yeast. And you can give it a little stir. And you're gonna leave this in here for a couple of minutes until it starts to froth. So it'll create like a little foam layer. In a mixer with the dough hook attachment, you're gonna add all your 4 eggs, your milk, your salt, and sugar. It's like snorkeling. And we're gonna add 2 cups of the flour, and we're also gonna add our yeast and water mixture in here. Now you're gonna let your mixer work on low speed for just a couple of minutes until it all comes together. Now you're gonna add another 2 cups of flour and mix on slightly higher speed. Now you're gonna keep adding your flour 1 cup at a time until your dough comes together and is nice and thick dough. Now you're gonna add your melted butter to your mixture, and you're gonna stir until that's all incorporated. Once your mixture has all come together, and I've had to add a little more flour, and that always depends. If you make bread, you'll know that it depends on the humidity, the water, the milk and everything. So I ended up using about 1.1 kilo of flour in my recipe. So what you're gonna do now, this is the consistency you're looking for. So it's not very stiff, but it's not completely wet. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna tip your dough out onto a floured surface. There we go. And what you're gonna wanna do now is just gently plop it around so that it's covered in flour. And make sure the bottom of our mixer comes off as well. So we're gonna spend a little time and clean this out. So now that our dough is nicely covered in flour, we're gonna place it back into our mixing bowl, just like that. Now you can cover your dough with a towel and just let it rest for 15 minutes. Now that our dough has been taking a nap for 15 minutes, we're gonna place it in the mixer with our dough hook, and on speed 2, we're gonna knead the dough for about 4 to 5 minutes. Once your dough has been kneaded, you're gonna tip it over into a large bowl that I have coated with some oil, just lightly coated, not a lot. And you're gonna cover this with a damp cloth, and it's gonna sit in a warm place. I like to put it in the oven with just the light on so that no air breezes or anything can like come into contact with the dough. And so I'm just gonna place it, and it's gonna stay in the oven for about an hour to an hour and a half until it grows. So I've taken my dough out of the oven and it looks like this. It's nice and squishy. And we're gonna top it out onto a floured surface. So we're just gonna get it out of the bowl. And it looks nice and soft. And I just like to work it just a little bit when we take it out. Oh, it feels nice. Like a little soft pillow. All right. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take some flour and dust our surface. And using a rolling pin, we're gonna roll this out into a nice big rectangle. So I've rolled out my dough, and yes, you're gonna need quite a large work surface. And now in a bowl, you're gonna put your sugar and your cinnamon. And just using a little spoon, you're gonna give it a little stir until it's nice and combined, and oh, that smells so good. So now we're gonna take our butter and make sure it's solid, but you will need to spread it out. So you can put little bits and pieces around on the dough. And we're gonna do this throughout the dough. Now, just using my knife, I'm going to flatten out those little chunks of butter and spread them across the dough. So now we're gonna sprinkle on our sugar and cinnamon mix. And you only wanna put enough to cover the whole rectangle with a very thin layer. So here is our rectangle of goodness. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll it. You can roll it from the long side, which is what I'm gonna do because we are going to make this into a wreath. So we need it to be nice and long. So now we have our baking tray with a bowl in the middle. Make sure the bowl can go in the oven. So mine is ceramic and it can go. And what you're gonna wanna do now is pick up your cinnamon roll. And this is gonna be too long, but it's okay. We can still bake the rest and make individual ones, which is what I'm gonna do. And you're just gonna wrap it around. So now with our scissors, what we're gonna do is we're going to diagonally cut where they overlap, just like this. You can see we have nice swirls. And we're gonna do the same to the other side so that they're gonna meet and join together in a happy marriage. So I have pinched my seam together over here. Had a little crash. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna take our scissors, and because we need our seam to stay together, we're gonna cut at either side of the seam. So you're gonna wanna take a cut, not all the way down, but rather deep. I'm gonna cut a little more, yeah, like that. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side, just so that our seam stays together forever. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut little chunks, just like this. And we're gonna pull them out a little bit. So we're gonna cut another one. And these will be like easy to tear and share later on. So here is my wreath, and if we take the bowl out, you can see it's like cut till the edge, but not quite, so they're still attached. And you can do them as big or as small as you like. I did them big because people in my family like to eat cinnamon rolls. So I wanted each person to have an actual full-size cinnamon roll. And I mean, it is New Year's. You have to eat, right? So I'm just gonna place my bowl back, and I'm gonna show you with the extras. I like to do this little pattern, and all it is, you cut just like this. And then you kind of displace them. If you didn't cut cut enough to move it. And cut a little corner. And you just place them on opposite sides. And this is really cute. You can do it with the whole, you can make like 2 loaves to look like this, but I wanted to make the little wreath to have as a centerpiece. This is cute also. And you're gonna let these rest for about 20 minutes and preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius. So now that they have been rising for another 20 minutes, I have beaten an egg in a bowl and we're just gonna give it a little egg wash. Now these will have to bake in your oven for 20 to 30 minutes. So while our breads are cooling, and they're over there, we're gonna make the glaze. So in a bowl, you're just gonna put in your icing sugar, the milk, and the vanilla. And then using a little whisk, we're gonna whisk this all together. And we're now gonna set this aside until the cinnamon rolls are completely cooled and we can make our Nutella sauce. Yum! Make our Nutella sauce, you're gonna take a large bowl and pour in your cream. And we're gonna whip the cream with a handheld mixer until we get stiff peaks. Now that I have finished whipping up my cream, in another bowl, always with a handheld mixer, I put my cream cheese and the icing sugar, and I'm gonna give it a good little mix until it's nice and smooth. Once your cream cheese is combined, you're gonna add your Nutella. Yum! I'm gonna add about a quarter of this, since this is 200 grams and we need 50. Yum, this looks so good. I just wanna dive into it and swim. And then using our electric mixer, we're gonna combine it all together. Now that you have this chocolate goodness, and try not to eat it all, won't be easy, but you gotta try. So we're gonna put in half of our whipped cream and we're gonna fold that in, and once this comes together, we're gonna add the other half. Now that our cinnamon rolls are nice and cool, we're going to take our glaze, and I like to use a whisk. I've already glazed these ones, as you can see. And all we're gonna do is we're just going to use our whisk and glaze the top. So here are our cinnamon rolls, and this centerpiece is simply gorgeous. It's gonna look so good on my New Year's table. So excited, and the smell in this kitchen is insane. And you can see these are our little individual logs, and they look amazing also. And then we have our masterpiece, this gorgeous cinnamon roll wreath with our Nutella sauce, which is incredible. I've already had a little taste and I'm just super excited. And now I'm gonna tear one of the little individual logs, and oh, this looks so yummy. Oh my god. I'm gonna get a little piece and I'm gonna dip it into my sauce over here. That's some goodness. This is happiness. Wow, that was a bite of heaven. And I suggest if you do make this for your New Year's dinner, tell your guests to have a little light dinner because dessert is gonna be amazing. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you did, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below if you make this and how it turns out and it was super yummy and what your guests thought of it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!